Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I love? Patreon.com/inkdependence, where patrons get access to a patron-only Discord, ad-free videos, and the joy of knowing they help support this channel. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and today I have a cool ink for you. This is from Color Traveler. This is Kotohira Happy Yellow, and I love the box that this comes in. This came to me from Vanness Pens. Thank you very much, Vanness, for hooking me up with this ink to try out. When you open up this suitcase-looking box, man, I tell you, these South Korean inks really go hard on the packaging here. You have like the top of a suitcase with like some "don't carry your pens like that." Oh, hi. Getting a visit from a Katy Purry. Hi, sweetie. How's it going? Okay, well, I'm doing an ink review here. Can we do this later? Okay, bye. Continuing in here, first point. I don't know what that means. Color Traveler, and you see a whole bunch of stuff. This is a really fun little kit. So in this, you have some little stickers and that sort of things. You have a little story about what the names mean and the traveling sort of stuff. Let's go ahead and take this out right quick. It says here, Kotohira in Kagawa Prefecture is a town built around a shrine. Katie, goodness. Cannonballing in here. Built around a shrine. The road leading to the shrine is lined with many souvenir shops as well, properties and buildings of cultural significance. The whole town has a Showa-era nostalgic atmosphere. This yellow represents Kotohira, a town that makes visitors smile and brings them happiness. So that's really fun, huh? And you have some, a few little stickers in there. And then... Hi, Kat. She's decided she must be on my desk because she's going to help me out here. You have the bottle of ink here. These little bottles of ink are very picturesque little bottles of ink. You actually see I've used about, I don't know, that much of it. I've refilled the pen from this a few times. I quite like this color. You also have in here a little vial and an eyedropper. And this is so that you can take some ink out of there, put it in here, and bring this with you on your travels so that you always have some ink to refill your pen from. So that's pretty darn convenient, right? I think that's a neat little inclusion. I like that a lot. Makes sense. Fits the theme. I like when there's a story. This is hitting on all cylinders. So let's take a look at this ink here. All right, Katie is going to be helping us out, I guess, for the duration here. So this is Color Traveler's Kotohira Happy Yellow. And as you can see, it's not really a yellow. It's more of an orange than anything else, which I am happy with because, A, I love orange. I mean, I love yellow, too. Look at this watch band just happens to be here. But also, yellows can be difficult to read, but oranges generally are pretty good. And this is a very nice color. This is my Nebula Casual Note paper, which I really like for fountain pen usage. Flow, I'd say it's pretty darn medium, and I've had this in a Kara's Penco Vertex with a Bach double broad on it. It's not the broadest double broad. It's kind of like a broad, really, but pretty nice. And the shading here is also very good. So the performance there says some feather and some bleed on the 20 pound, but not bad. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. As I say down here, look, happy? Yes. Yellow? No. This ink is the yellow side of orange, but it's definitely an orange. Flow is smooth, color is great, shading beautiful. Just what I expected from Color Traveler because this is not my first Color Traveler and it absolutely will not be my last. These 30 ml bottles are $22, so not the cheapest thing on the market, but also not that bad. I mean, that's pretty darn okay, especially with all the fun stuff that it comes with. Let's go ahead and do our water drop test here. Katie, I'm going to need to use my desk for this part, sweetheart. All right, maybe I can convince her to be a lap cat for a moment. All right, so we'll do this. I'm doing it one-handed. Forgive the shakiness. Sorry about that. I had to move the camera. All right, so let's get some water on this subject. You'll notice from the chromatography strip up there, which didn't really fit down at the bottom because I wrote too many things, but up at the top, you can definitely see this really beautiful golden yellow and then like blank space and then hot pink, a little bit of purple perhaps, but really interesting colors go into this ink. I don't think there's going to be any real water resistance, though, despite there being a strong yellow at the base. I don't think it's going to be left. Well, actually, yeah, I don't think so, y'all. So this is not water resistant even a little bit. There is some yellow there, but I think you're going to have a hard time picking out what you wrote. Most of the color came up here on the paper towel, so not the most water resistant thing on the block. But again, you don't really find many water-resistant yellows, not that many oranges either outside of pigmented inks. So not terribly unexpected. All right, let's look at this on some different papers here. Here it is on some Staples 20-pound 30% recycled copy paper. And you can see here it looks a lot more orange, like much darker orange. And I think that's got to be because the paper is just soaking up the ink more, because this paper is kind of like bottom drawer stuff that you'll find in your office copier because it's the cheapest, not really meant for fountain pens, but not a huge amount of bleed, oddly. Like a pretty average amount of bleed, maybe the most on this page, but not the most on most pages. So yeah, not bad. And also remember, this did come in a double broad nib, which I forgot to show. So we'll go ahead and do that now. This is my Keras Vertex here. There we go. This is that double broad. So it's not the biggest double broad on the planet, but definitely is putting down some ink. So yeah, you gotta be maybe a little bit more restrained. Use a smaller nib or that sort of thing when you're going to do this on copy paper. But for a double broad, that's actually behaved very well, I would say, on this copy paper. All right, next up, I used some plotter paper for this little writing sample, and I just did this one the other day because I realized I hadn't done a writing sample for this ink, and I really wanted to get it reviewed. So this is from the Memorable but Meaningless. They're talking about making warning symbols out of like meaningless symbols and like converting the meaningless into the meaning. So very interesting stuff. So here you go. You can hit pause and read that if you like. But the rest of us are going to admire the awesome shading, little bits of like yellow and that sort of thing peeking out, but very easy to read, I would say. Very good. Also, I think this is my 100th writing sample that I've done since I started doing these writing samples. That's fun, right? So there you go. Plotter paper 004. This actually comes in sort of like a glue bound thing that you can either put in your plotter or not, but it's very good paper. No weird bleeding or anything like that. Actually, not even spots. Barely, doesn't even show through. That's actually pretty darn impressive. So yeah, this plotter paper, I think the juice is worth the squeeze on the plotter paper. These are not terribly expensive papers either. Check this out at your favorite plotter distributor. Getting real close, you can see some of that shading on there, which is real nice. All right, next up, Inky Fingers. This is wheat straw paper, which is kind of like bamboo or sugarcane paper. And there you go. You can see some of that yellow shading on there, but again, really more of an orange than a yellow, I think. But definitely happy. Lastly, for our papers, we have here Tomoe River in our Galen Everyday Notebook, and it is right there. It actually doesn't look great on this paper, I don't think. You get an interesting like kind of shine from it, though. Isn't that interesting? You don't see that on any of the other papers, but overall, I don't think it looks awesome on here. It looks kind of like, it looks a little bit grungy on this paper for some reason. I don't know. It's interesting how different this ink looks on every paper that we've used it with, which is like kind of fun, and I think that's interesting. But yeah, a little weird, right? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Like, do you like the look of that? I'm not 100% sure. You know what it actually looks like is it looks like it should be a pigmented ink with that kind of like matte shine on it, but it doesn't have sheen. Weird, but I dig it. Okay, time for some color comparisons, and I've pulled a whole bunch. Some of them are close, some of them are not super close, but I think would be interesting to have here. So there it is on the Colodex paper, which is a really nice paper for all your ink sample needs. You should probably check some of that out. Here we have Wearingeul Heimdall, which is definitely more orange than Happy Yellow. It makes Happy Yellow look yellower because this is so orange. Then we have Vanness Sweet Tater Pie, which I think is honestly the closest thing I have to Kotohira Happy Yellow. Then Diamine 150 Golden Honey, which is a little bit more on the orange side in some places, but the center stripe here is just like that. Then I have Navalur or Narwhal Explorer Mango Sunset, which is fairly close. This one is a bit on the dry side, so if you have a pen that's a little bit out of control in terms of wetness, throw some Mango Sorbet in there. I think it will like tame it a little bit and give you kind of the same color, but a little bit more yellow, I think, than Happy Yellow is. Then we have Kala's Milk Tea, which is a bit more peach, I believe. Diamine Cult Pens Azalea, which is like, I don't know, leaning some other, like a little pinkish, perhaps. And then down here, Roaring Klingner's Sketch Ink Carmen. I mentioned that that it looked a little bit like it had on the Tomoe River, it looked like it had a little bit of like a pigment thing going on. If you want a pigmented version, this is Roaring Klingner's Carmen, and this is a pigmented version, which should be waterproof and that sort of thing, or at least very water resistant, although I don't think I've tested that. And then lastly, because why not, I picked up Irishizuku's Yuyake, which is, I think, actually, it probably, if we want to shift all this over and keep our colors a little bit more like that. It kind of belongs over here. It's closer to milk tea than it is to Happy Yellow, but really interesting color, lots of comparable sorts of things, but these are the ones that are going to be the closest in tone to Happy Yellow. So there you go. Thanks very much, Vanness, for giving me this ink and introducing me to Color Traveler inks. I've really only seen these at Vanness Pens. I'm not sure if they sell them other places, but I'm sure they sell them in Korea and Japan and that sort of thing if you are overseas. But oh, wait, are these? Yeah, made in Korea, but it says colortraveler.jp. Interesting. Oh, First Point is the brand. Interesting. Huh. Well, I don't know. Made in Korea, but .jp for the, I don't know, man. Color Traveler, it's from all over, I guess. But this ink is real cool, and I like all the inks from Color Traveler that I've tried. So check one of these out if you haven't. It's worth the $22, I would say. I like it. So there you go. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, peace out.